Welcome to the Real Estate Equation. I'm Ian Mayer with I Am Home Inspections. I'm here with...
I'm Liz Buchman with the Buchman team at Guild Mortgage.
So Liz, at the end of last year, we did an episode about setting up your year for success in 2025. And we kind of want to check in because we're about almost a third way through the year. We're about through the first quarter. And I'm seeing some agents out there, they're doing really well. And there are a bunch of agents out there who are not doing very well. They're having a very slow start. So with that, we kind of sit back, review, and go over the top things you can do to be successful in 2025.
Okay.
Number one, have a vision for your life. Now, you've got to understand where you're trying to go to be successful. Do you see yourself in 10 years living in a mansion with a bunch of fancy cars in the driveway? Do you see yourself just having a nice house and being secure? Do you see yourself raising a lot of money for charity? That's going to be a future episode. We're going to talk about real estate and charity. Where is your vision? If you don't have a vision for your life, you don't really understand where you're going. And you really got to understand what is it that you want, because if you don't know what you want, you don't know how to work hard for it.
That's true.
Or you don't know how much you need to work for it. So I really say number one is you just need a vision.
Okay. So how do we get the vision? Do we, close our eyes and meditate, or do we manifest? Or do we vision board? Is there a wrong way to do it?
You just take some deep thought about what's really important to you. Okay. And what's not important to you.
Okay.
Here's a great example is one day I was doing an inspection and the client drove up in this Ferrari, got out of the car, paid me with, this super thick, heavy Amex card that weighed a ton, very special Amex card.
I know those.
Talked to him for a few minutes, then he got back in his Ferrari and he drove off. And I was sitting there talking to the real estate agent, how come I don't have a Ferrari? Why don't I make enough money to get a Ferrari? I don't have enough money for a Ferrari.
Would you want a Ferrari if you made that much money?
Well, that was the point. But then the next day I thought about it, I don't actually want a Ferrari. A Ferrari would do nothing for me. To me, it was just kind of a waste of money. But having enough money to have options, pay off my house, remodel my house, make sure my wife and kids are supported, make sure I have enough money in retirement to travel later on. That's my vision. I have a very, very solid vision of just having a nice, happy family, not necessarily worrying about money. I'm not really driven to be like some super rich billionaire, have enough money to give some money to some charities, just be a nice, solid, secure place. And so when I struggle with things, that's what I think about. Okay, we got to work on the vision.
Yeah. The visions will, here's some tips I've learned by talking to other people on how they do it. And so each year, they may vision board. So I've been vision boarding for 3 years now. Something I never thought I would do, but it really helps. And if you do it with a group of people, then you have that same positive, go get 'em kind of energy. And not everybody reads, right? So having a visual, such as a picture, to help you see what is at the end of the tunnel, see what goals you can accomplish at the end of the year. So kick back with a glass of wine or, whatever your choice of beverage is, and quietly go over their business planning. What is going to work, and tune everything out and focus on their goals of 2025. So whether you are a reader, you like words, or whether you're a visionary person, and you like the pictures, the goal I think there is have that vision for your life and being able to put it on paper or with a glue stick on a vision board and be able to identify your goals and then measure them at the end of the year. You have something to measure it.
My vision board's over there, actually. Most of the things that were on it have fallen off because we've accomplished them. But the big thing is I took my mortgage statement, put it in Photoshop, and made everything zero. And that is my big vision, to eventually get that mortgage paid to zero.
What's on my vision board this year? It's not here. I can send you a copy if you want to take a picture of it. But a lot of it is PMA, positive mental attitude stuff, because 2025 is my year. This is going going to be my year. And I have a ton of things I want to accomplish, all measurable, but I'm not going to let anything get in my way. So it brings us to number 2, breaking down your vision into a defined goal to be done by the end of the year. So breaking it on down. How do we do that? Well, vision boards or business planning is usually what I see most. What works with you?
Yeah, well, this is where you you define goals like house paid off, vacation money. Those are more abstract things. But a defined goal is a certain revenue number that I want to hit by the end of the year. So I have a very defined goal of gross revenue that I want the company to hit. And so that goal is very defined, and certain actions regarding that goal are very defined. So basically, I'm taking the bigger vision and I'm breaking down what can I do this year, and then making it less abstract and more defined with put actual numbers on it and actual date on it.
Perfect. That's exactly what you need. Yeah.
Exactly.
Most business plans are not 1 page long business plans. They're multiple pages, sometimes even into the double digits, because you got to break down your activities. So if your goal is to get to A, how are you going to get there? It needs to be broken out in B, C, D, and E, and when you're going to do it. So be detailed, and those actions are going to help you identify whether you've successfully completed that goal, or sometimes we may need to pivot and modify it because we realize, you know what? I've done B, C, D, and E, and it's still not working. I'm not getting the results. So being able to understand that is usually only when you break it down. So breaking down that vision into a defined goal is an absolute must.
All right, number 3, define your priority marketing methods and go all in. So now as a real estate agent, you hear a lot of different things. Everyone in your office has got, what are they doing? And they're all saying, follow me, right? Or all these real estate gurus go online and follow what I do to be successful. But you really need to follow what you're going to do. And you really need to go all in. You said in a previous episode, you can't just toe dip. You can't just try something because just trying something doesn't work. What works is going all in. But what are you going to be good at? And this really comes down to your individual personality. But maybe you're really into cold calling. That still works. That's still a very proven real estate method. Maybe you prefer warm calling. You're going to cold call, but you're going to call people who you at least have friends of friends, people you know, so it's more warm calls. A very successful agent I know makes 50 calls a day. That's how he stays successful, because I was like, are you selling more houses than everybody else? He's like, I make 50 calls a day. I'm like, ooh, that's not me. But, right, door knocking. Some agents love door knocking. Some agents hate door knocking. Yep. Door knocking does work. I've said this story before. My neighbor was selling her house. She asked me for some recommendations on agents. I gave her some recommendations, and she ignored all of them and went with the person that door knocked her. So door knocking absolutely works, but you got to be consistent about it. You can't just door knock once and then go, I didn't get anything. You got to be very consistent, have your defined area, and do it on a consistent basis. Mailers. Mailers are very expensive, and so you need to, but if you do them consistently, they do work. There's a listing agent in my neighborhood, and I get a mailer from her every 2 weeks, have for years, and she's very just consistently on top of the mailers. It's expensive, but it works for her. But the thing is, she's chosen mailers over door knocking, over calling. Open houses. Open houses is a very popular way. You know, I've heard agents say open houses is the best way, and that's how I get everything. And I've heard some agents say, I'm a fan of open houses. But, you know, if you're going to do it, commit to it. Do it every Sunday. There's always a house that needs to be held open. If you don't have your own listing, there's always someone in your office who's got a listing that they want to hold open. And sometimes you're even allowed to go outside of office. Advertising. Are you an advertiser? Are you the type of person who puts ads on a bus stop bench? There's a bus stop bench around the corner from me. It's had the same 2 realtors since I think the day I moved into this house 18 years ago. Now they update the ads every while. They refresh them, so they're not just the same old piece of paper there. But they've had the same 2 bus stops for as long as I can remember. That's their thing. They said they go all in it. Networking. Are you a networker? Are you the type of person who goes out to events and gets to know people? Community outreach. That's another popular real estate method is, you know, get out in your community, go to community events, meet people, and become, you know, a person of the community. So these are all things you could possibly do. Obviously, there's not enough time in the day to do all of these, but you should pick one or two and go all in on them.
And you have to be consistent. You said that. And whichever one that you feel is this is really you, like you really shine, and doing this is real genuine, because people want that genuine feeling. They don't want to feel like they're being sold something. At least I don't. And that's usually what I hear from, especially the younger generation. They don't want to be sold something, but they want to be educated. So finding a way that you're consistent, genuine, and you follow up. So don't think that you're going to land that deal on the first try with that first contact. It takes multiple contacts. On average, do you know what the statistics are in the follow-up that comes with any of your primary marketing methods that you choose? Such as, let's say I did cold calling. How many times I would need to cold call that same person to be able to either get them to respond to you or get them to like you and then trust you.
It could be as high as 15 to 20.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly it. So cold calling the same person 8 times, and then you might get a text or a phone call back, a response. No joke. This happened to me this week. I was given a lead from a past client to call this person between these hours. And of course, I get the marching order. So I'm like, you got it. I'm all over it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to reach out to this person. And the first time they didn't answer. So I left a message and then I followed up with the text. The following day, I didn't get a response. So I called again between those hours and followed up with the text. And then by this point, people are following up with me like, hey, did you talk to them yet? I can't get a hold of them. I'm having a hard time connecting. So they go, okay, well, let me see what's going on. Maybe they're not as motivated as they told us. Okay, cool. Well, as that's going on, I'm putting together my marketing drip plan of follow-up with this lead because I don't want to lose the lead. Right? We don't want to lose leads. We don't want to be the place where leads go to die. That's not me. That's not my team. So eventually, 30 days later, no joke, which was 2 days ago, I get a text back from that person. Finally get them to respond to me. I'm not going to say it was the nicest text that I've ever received. It was more like, well, I talked to you and told you that I wasn't ready yet. And I responded and I says, you talked to this person. Here, this is who I am. This is how I can help you. And let's get started. And so identifying the fact that it was about 30 days ago and I started hot and heavy and then backed off a little bit on the gas, finally got them to respond. It was about 8 times. 8 times just to get a text back. Wow. So that persistence and follow-up. Hey, now they know me. They know I'm going to be consistent and they know I have their back when they're ready to decide that they want to get pre-qualified. So yeah. So knowing your primary marketing method, how are you going to follow up is key, and putting all your activities in that business plan and being genuine about it.
All right. So number 4.
This is so hot right now. Building your social media presence. Regardless of what method you use, you got to have something on social media. So let's throw out some social media platforms. Obviously, you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've got TikTok, Twitter X, Blue Sky, YouTube. Those are all social media platforms. And guess what? Your clients are going to look you up, so you better be on them. And yet that is going to give you a Google presence. So if you're trying to be the best self and be your best person and be the best thing that you can be in 2025, and you don't have an internet presence, make this top priority, because this is the way.
Yeah, I agree. Whatever you define as your main marketing thing, you have to follow up with social media, or maybe even make social media your main marketing. And, and agents always say, well, what do I post on social media? Well, go back to what your primary marketing is.
Yeah.
Are you a cold caller? Well, take pictures of yourself calling people. Are you a door knocker? Take pictures and video of yourself out door knocking. I know agents who do that. Mailers? Your mailer, if you're doing a mailer, you better have a copy of that mailer posting to your Instagram and Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
Open houses, same thing. Post about, hey, we're having an open house. Any kind of advertising, back that up with your social media presence, networking, community outreach. Those are great opportunities to take pictures and videos of yourself and post them to social media. So regardless of what marketing method you use as your primary, you should always back it up with social media. And for our company, our social media is actually our primary. We do everything pretty much on social media, and then everything after that is secondary.
Right. So let me just jump in and add one more thing that I've learned over time is that when we're excelling in our business and we are doing everything right, the social media is like the glitter. It's like the icing on the cake. It's going to elevate your business to the next level because your customer that you're looking to grab is on social media. 9 out of 10 of them are on social media. So the information that they're getting is from social media. So you need to be on social media too, so you can get to the customer first. And that way, putting that into your marketing plan, and this is what top 10 successful, this is what the top real estate professionals are doing, is they're all on social media. So if you're not on it, build it. If you don't have time for it, hire somebody.
Great. Number 5, have a marketing budget. This comes down to your planning. So whatever you're defining your goal is, you need to have money to back that up. Some things are cheaper than others. Obviously, social media is generally free, unless you're getting paid advertisements. Cold calling, free. Mailers, very expensive. So how much money are you willing to spend? And you have to spend a little bit of money. You need, minimum, you need your business cards. And if you're a real estate agent, you need your signs for open houses. It's kind of weird when I find running into an agent, they're like, oh, do you have a business card? And they're like, oh, no, I don't. Like, what's wrong with you? Business cards are not terribly expensive in the grand scheme of things. So you got to have some money set, and from every sale that you make, you should set aside a certain amount of money of that to go towards your future marketing.
Yep. So on average, where we're looking at setting a marketing budget, it's usually based on dollar amount of either past production or past profits. So when you look at how much money you are making, and there's the whole terminology, it costs money to make money, right? Mm-hmm. So you do have to spend a little bit on yourself, and that marketing budget that you have, you look about 10%. So if you're trying to get to, make $25,000 this year on this month, then you should have a 10% budget of $2,500 as a marketing budget. Not necessarily means that you need to have all that or use it all. Start with the free stuff. The most important thing with a marketing budget is making sure that you're not getting suckered into, my favorite is advertise at the golf course. And I go, well, I'm not even there. So you usually have to be in an area that's present. So otherwise, there's no way you can follow up with that. Like if you're going to be sponsoring a banner at the local elementary school, and you don't live in that neighborhood, and you don't have any kids that go to that school or any affiliation with it, you got to find a really creative method of showing up to the elementary school and putting a face to the banner, a real live person to the banner.
Yeah, and if you have a budget that sort of helps you avoid maybe making mistakes of going into areas that, you don't feel comfortable in or outside of your marketing method.
Yep. Trade shows and things like that work as well too. Giving back to your community, showing up for your community in times of stress and need is a great way to show that not only do you care, but those usually don't cost any money. So.
All right.
So number 6, we move on to number 6 is defining your target neighborhood or area. Break it down into zip code if you can. That will give you an opportunity so you're not, as far as time management goes, you're not all over the state trying to manage multiple areas. If you're in LA County, that's a huge county. So you want to identify more centralized areas to where you live. Usually I find that where you live and you work in that area, there's going to be more of a community. You can market yourself as a local expert and really show up, like I said, show up in time of need and stress, but also be available. And people see you maybe in a non-working environment, like at the grocery store or Whole Foods, you know?
I mean, this comes down to me for the agents that do a lot of business. I tend to notice they tend to have a very defined marketing neighborhood. And the agents that say, well, I just go wherever my clients take me, wherever the wind blows.
Yeah.
Those are the agents that generally don't have a lot of business.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean to say if you target this neighborhood, you cannot do a deal that falls in your lap over here. But I find most of the agents that are really, really successful have a very limited target area of maybe one or two adjacent neighborhoods, and they put all their advertising into that one area. They put, maybe they're an advertiser and they get the school banners all in that same neighborhood. Or if they're a mailer, they're just mailing to that one neighborhood. Or if they're door knocking, they're just door knocking that one neighborhood. Putting all their effort into one neighborhood or maybe two neighborhoods that are adjacent, generally much more beneficial. I mean, there's one listing agent I know who I've known for years. All her listings are like within walking distance of each other.
Yeah.
Another agent I was talking to once, I was like, how are you so successful? And then I just realized like all the buyers and sellers that she works with is in this very narrow radius. Not that, doesn't occasionally take one or two outside of that area, but they focus on that area. Whereas the agents who say, well, I just kind of go wherever, they usually don't have a lot of business.
Yeah, that doesn't work. And especially when you're developing a marketing plan, it's something you want to consistently be around, and therefore it doesn't work if you don't have that. You're absolutely right.
Right. You want to be somebody to someone, and if you're trying to be everything to everyone, you usually end up being no one.
Nice work there.
All right. Number 7, have a consistent follow-up strategy and a system to follow up on your leads. Now, obviously, if you get a lead, as talking earlier, you need a system to follow up on this. So if you're door knocking, obviously you don't door knock once and forget it, but you don't door knock the same doors every day either. And if you do door knock and someone says, come back in 30 days, you need a system to know that exactly 30 days later, you need to be back there. If someone says, call me in 2 days, call them in 2 days. If they say, email me in 2 weeks, email them in 2 weeks. So you need some sort of system that's going to keep you organized so you can follow up on those leads, because generally, you don't want your leads to go to die. They say the fortune is in the follow-up, because no one's going to buy from you, or rarely is anyone going to buy from you the very first time you talk to them. So you need a system to keep yourself organized, whether it's a CRM, a database, a giant wall calendar, a whiteboard, or some sort of combination. You need some sort of system.
Technology is key. You got to embrace what's out there. And there's a lot of customer databases that have automated systems in it. So if you were to put follow up with this person in 30 days, then you got to put in the work, right? But you set that and create that task. Outlook doesn't charge anything usually, right? You have a Microsoft account. You have Outlook to do your calendar. So people will actually, 30 days from now, put in there as a task, follow up with this client. And when that day comes, you open up your tasks and it's going to tell you everything you need to do in Outlook. So Outlook is pretty much a cost-effective way of doing it. There are more expensive tools. I use Salesforce because that's what Guild Mortgage uses, and it's freaking amazing. It's a game changer. Whatever system you're using, use it and use it well, and don't forget about it, because it's what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And the more tools you have, the easier it's going to be to not to forget a lead, not forget to do that one thing of the day. And it sets the tone for the day. So you make sure everything is time managed and you've got it. Yeah, you have your follow-up strategy, whether it's texting, phone calls. Don't forget thank you cards. I know a lot of people don't do thank you cards anymore, and it's a missed opportunity.
You do.
So do thank you cards, any system of record that can help you follow up and be the face of your brand and take those clients to the next level, and ask for referrals as well. So yeah, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, there's just a saying in my house, if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's true. Same with mine.
All right.
Okay, so moving on to number 8, prioritize education and personal development. In my world, we have a 15-minute learning every day. What are you going to learn for 15 minutes every day? And that is something that really enhances, you can share that with your clients. It could be what we call a value-added proposition that, hey, this is market news. This is news about interest rates. This is news about a new listing or just general, community awareness stuff. That 15 minutes a day is just, a non-negotiable, right? And then we have personal development, and personal development is, those two words together can mean so much. In my world, it's all about coaching. So part of a coaching program, and I needed that for accountability. Even though I've been in this business 25 years, I know what I need to do, but it's making myself accountable and asking for that additional person to hold me accountable to all of my goals and tasks and follow-up and all these things that technically can bog down your day, but you make them important. And so with that, I'm looking at, coaching programs are not cheap, but you're investing in yourself, and that's personal development.
Yeah, personal development I'm a very big fan of. It's like food for your brain. If you eat junk food versus you eat a salad, junk food may taste good for the short term, but the long-term effects are very bad versus that salad. And personal development is sort of like feeding your brain good books, good audiobooks, good podcasts, not filling your brain with, junk food of the news of the day, sitcoms, dumb TV shows. You need to keep your brain active, and then you never stop learning. There's always something new to learn. So always been a big fan of audiobooks and nonfiction books. And then really in the last few years, much bigger fan of podcasts like this one.
Hey.
So listen to a lot of different podcasts on a regular development and follow, particular people online that have, things that I want to accomplish. I'm a big personal development junkie.
You run your own show. You are I Am Home Inspections.
Yes.
Hey there, bud.
Yeah. All right. Number 9, build strategic partnerships with your home inspector, with your lender, with your title person, your home warranty person,
your realtor, other realtors.
So if you're a real estate agent, you need a strong network of people. You cannot get a deal closed on your own. You need that inspector you can rely on. You need your lender you can rely on. You need your title person. You need your home warranty. You need to have people, and you need to have a network of people. And the more people you have in your network, the stronger you are. And, I have my own networks of people and people I can call. And when someone says, hey, do you know something about this? Well, if I don't know about it, I know someone I can call about it or I can send a text to. And it's very part of being successful. You just can't do it all on your own. No matter how much you try, you need other people around you, in some cases legally, because you're not legally allowed to do everything, right? You can't be the home inspector and the real estate agent and the appraiser. That'd be totally against the law. So you need to have your network of people.
And don't forget some of your support staff too. So there's the operations side of being a real estate agent. That's your transaction coordinator, your broker. Your broker is a huge resource to you. They are on your team. And let's see, your marketing. You may have a marketing person in your office, your team lead. A whole operations staff is usually at each real estate firm and ready and available to help you, especially if you're new and you have a training manager or a mentor within the office to walk you through some of the stuff that you may just need a little extra help with. But I'm a big fan of being on a team. I think it's a wonderful idea. There's no I in team. So that's a big one that always stuck with me. So you need help. You need to create those strategic partnerships. And especially when you have a challenge, they become really effective in making sure everyone's on the same page and speaking the same language. For example, there was one team of real estate agents I worked with, and they brought me to a seminar with them because they wanted all of us to speak the same language. So if it was a seminar about economic forecasting, and this was like 10 years ago. So nothing recent, but it was really cool that as a lender, I was invited to go and I felt a part of the team. So that was fun.
Yeah, it's good to have your strategic partnerships. And obviously, as a home inspection company, we know a lot about real estate. A lot of people think, well, you just crawl into the houses. What do you know? But we know a lot about real estate because we're involved in more transactions in a week than most realtors are involved in an entire year. All right.
And the last one, check in with yourself every month. Review what's working and what's not, and be ready to pivot with new information or as changes occur. Again, reevaluating is not a bad thing. Changing it up to kind of change the outcome is actually a good thing. We are in the business of, the unknown sometimes. 90 days from now could be a whole new world with rules, regulations, administrations, compliance. Things change on a dime. Lending, we have new underwriting guidelines. It might be a new program that comes out, and you go from it's not. I don't know if this is really my year to being, oh my God, this is excellent. This is going to be my best year ever because of just this one change. So be acceptable to change and be ready to hold yourself accountable. I mentioned I have a coach, so coaches are great. Doesn't always have to be somebody you're as a experienced type of coach. Friend or family members work just as great as long as they know what to do and they hold you accountable.
I would say, anytime you have a great idea, then, implement it. Don't wait. There's no reason to wait until January 1st to implement your brand new idea, your brand new marketing strategy, as long as you're not just hopping around from different things to different things. But if you've got a plan and you have a great plan to improve upon it, jump on it, do it. No reason to wait till January 1st. And yeah, you do have to evaluate what's working. Sometimes something just, is it just a matter of I haven't done it hard enough, if I haven't done it well enough, or is this just really not working the way I want it to? I'm constantly looking at everything we do and going, well, what can we tweak? I have our core things that we're going to do, and we're not going to stray from those things, but maybe I need to tweak them within what we're doing. Maybe we tweak the way we edit the videos. Maybe we tweak the way we do our presentations. Every time we do a presentation, I tweak the PowerPoint just a little bit.
Yeah, you got to change with your audience. It's called being flexing or being flexible, but for sure.
And then, sometimes new information comes out and you're like, oh, well, based on that, car forms, they change every 6 months. Now, sometimes the changes are very minimal and barely noticeable, and sometimes they're very drastic. But, the California Association of Realtors is changing their forms every 6 months. How many realtors keep up with every last little change? It's a tough business. Constantly need to reevaluate yourself, check in, see how you're doing on your goals, and where you need to get better and where you need to work harder. Yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of working harder and putting, more effort in. Anything else?
There's a lot more that can be said about accountability. But, I think here's food for thought is that if it doesn't feel right, doesn't feel genuine, it feels forced, maybe it's not the right technique. So practice your techniques, hone in on who you are, be genuine. Consumers like that. They like you versus maybe a brand that's supporting you. So be your own brand, hold yourself accountable, and listen to feedback. Listen to what your consumers are saying. That's a great way to evaluate your success, and never forget to ask for the business. So you can do all of these things and have this great plan. But remember, we're in sales and we are always hungry for the next new lead and the next new deal. So don't forget to ask your past clients who are your biggest fans for more business, for referrals. That's one thing that I know as loan originators forget to do, or they don't feel comfortable. They feel awkward, like, you just helped them buy a house. So that's the biggest accomplishment. You helped with that. And see if they know anybody else that also is looking to buy or sell or refinance. With that,
all right,
we'll close it out.
All right, so this has been The Real Estate Equation. I'm Ian Mayer with I Am Home Inspections that matter for people who care. 818-298-3405.
And I'm Liz Buchman with the Buchman team at Guild Mortgage. You can reach the office at 818-405-0809 or me directly at 714-478-7920. Thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe.